Welcome to Spirituality on the Spectrum, a sacred haven where AuDHD memory keepers and spiritually tuned seekers can finally exhale. If you've ever been mislabeled, overwhelmed, or cosmically attuned beyond explanation, you're not broken. You're calibrated, divinely, precisely, and for this moment. Here, we bridge what science quantifies, what psychology overlooks, and what your soul has whispered since childhood. Your sensitivities were never a glitch. They were divinely wired for a higher purpose. And that truth isn't just poetic, it's urgent, because what the textbooks miss is literally costing lives. The gulf between clinical theory and sacred wiring is vast. And in that chasm, too many of our memory keeper kin disappear. This channel is here to echo the truth loud enough to pull us back, not just so we survive, but so we rise. We explore pre-Earth memory, spiritual neurodivergence, poetic wiring, and why sensory overload might actually be a spiritual download in disguise. We make the invisible visible and the forgotten unforgettable. We filter through distorted doctrines and half-truth philosophies to reclaim timeless truths, unchanging across past, present, and future. Because truth is not opinion, it's eternal architecture. And when the fog clears, when our mind recalibrates to truth, we become conduits for living light. It's not just healing, it's rebellion. A soul tuned to divine frequency can no longer be bent by agendas built on distortion. Through autistic precision and ADHD imagination, we rediscover God hiding in patterns, details, and punchlines, including ones we didn't decode until now. Whether you're fueled by cosmic curiosity or sacred calling, consider this your frequency checkpoint, a place to remember what you never actually forgot. And if it feels like karma just kicked down your door, welcome to the club. You're not glitching, you're spiritually overclocked for impact. Now, let's find out why. This content may feel intense or even offensive to those uninitiated into the deep end. We ask only for your open heart and a growth mindset. Always watch to the end for a special treat. Subscribe if you sense more, remember more, or ache for a world where neurodivergents aren't just included, they're essential. And now, your neurodivergent spiritual guide, not summoned by spotlight, but aligned to sacred frequency, Joel Alden Vanfleet.
So before we get to today's video, I just wanted to give an update about where I'm at since I put that video about darkness and how it affects us. And after that, I recorded a video about angels, which is the video that you're now going to be watching. So where I'm at is obviously probably not surprising to you. After you do stuff like that, unmask the evil, you could say all hell breaks loose. So I have multiple family members in the ER right now. I'm at an ER right now after my wife had an allergic reaction. And all kinds of problems just all of a sudden just happened all at once, like a big giant explosion of unfortunate events. But I'm okay. You see, when things like this happen, the veil thins. When the veil thins, darkness tries to creep in and do its thing. So we need to be prayerful, pray with all of our might. And when we do that, when our prayers go up, angels come down. And we need that angelic help. That's what this video is about that you're about to watch. You'll love it. And if you're in a situation like me right now, facing all sorts of strange life trauma, then this video is especially for you. Enjoy. Thank you. Before we started the video, I just wanted to give a quick update on everything. Yesterday was a day of angelic miracles, one after another. This includes right before I had to rush my wife to the hospital, 2 miracle angels showed up at her home. perfect timing. They helped me give my wife a blessing and were a great comfort for our 4 children as we were gone. For the video you're about to watch, I put it together really quick and recorded it right after. Everything was given to me what to say, but that wasn't the end of it. Nobody knew I was now working on a video about angels. And I was thinking I would get around to making this video in maybe a month or so. However, as I was working on this, left and right, people just started sending me their videos and quotes about angels. One particular line stood out that wasn't even in any of the content they shared, but was very clear, and that is, we are here. Angels are trying to send others messages, to send me messages, to send you messages. Does it get more important than that? I don't think so, mates. Obviously, you're not watching this video for the random reasons you thought you were. You were led to this video by people on the other side of the veil who love you dearly. They want you to know that they are here for you in both the good and the bad. So enjoy the video, because this video is for you from them on the other side.
We are here.
Good day, my neurodivergent sisters and brothers. I'm joined by Oracle Nixara
For another fun yet educational video.
And as always, I come bearing cosmic commentary, sensory sass, and a few encrypted downloads from the ancestral inbox. Let's make this transmission one to remember.
Most of my videos are around helping my AuDHD brothers and sisters, but today, yes, this content will definitely help my AuDHD spirit siblings, but it will also help all neurodivergents.
Because whether your wiring feels like a symphony, a storm, or a sacred scribble, this message is for you. The angels don't check diagnostic labels before showing up.
In the past, we've talked much about dark forces and how darkness affects neurodivergence. It's time for a change, to talk about the angels of light. By the end of this video, your mind will probably be reminded by many experiences you've had yourself involving angels. So I hope you take the time to overshare some of those experiences in the comments. Even more than pigeons and doves, angels are just about everywhere there are people. It doesn't matter if you're on solid ground, in the air, over water, or even in space. All the angels who are here on this earth, manipulating timelines, keeping us safe, and guiding us, are beings only of those who are also associated with this earth. These angels of light, whether ancestors, assigned guardians, or archetypical kin, are intimately tied to your soul's journey. But the angels who usually surround you and help you are generally your own literal ancestral family.
So next time you feel a sudden chill, hear a whisper in the quiet, or get goosebumps in the cereal aisle, don't panic. It might just be Grandma checking in, and yes, she still disapproves of your sugar intake.
Where there are angels of light around, dark forces tend to flee. As we go further into this video, I want you to ask yourself, what can I do to invite angels into my life more? Many answers are in this video, but not always blunt. There are even times when we get the chance to see these angels with our physical eyes. Yes, this is rare, but actually it happens more often than you think. Even in these rare times of seeing our ancestors in the physical plane, know this, they had to get all dressed up for everyone, just to blend in. These angels generally don't wear these primitive clothes we think are fashionable. Well, most people don't think this is fashionable, but I think it's comfortable. No, they're living in the life of real fashion and sensory comfort. Perhaps if you get the next time to even chat with one of your ancestral angels, consider asking them for some textile tips for us sensory sensitives. The comfort in their realm isn't just aesthetic, it's symbolic. Because this life, this mortal stage, is a set they've helped design. This mortal life is a staged setup that we've been preparing for longer than you can imagine. And in this staged, candid camera-like life experience,
There are actually angels all around, even in the physical world, who walk, dress, and talk like us.
They blend in so well you'd think they were just another stranger in line at the DMV, until they slip you a message that rearranges your entire timeline. That's the thing about angels in disguise. They don't need wings when they've mastered the art of subtle entrance.
Obviously, the biggest clues to this miracle is when an angel shows up randomly, like in Nixara's cereal aisle at the grocery store, and gives something to you like a wad of cash to buy food for the kids. But as soon as you turn around to say thank you, they're nowhere to be found. Yes, they tend to do that a lot. Disappear on you into thin air. Sneaky angels.
Honestly, I've started checking the cereal aisle for teleportation residue. If you see glitter, static in the air, or a sudden shift in emotional temperature, don't be alarmed. It's just Angelic Exit Strategy 101.
As an AuDHD soul with heightened sensory sensitivities, our spiritual senses can also be more sensitively aware than the average Joe. If your name's Joe and you're listening to this, then accept that you're not that average Joe I'm referring to. Being extra sensitive, we can sense the presences of certain ancestors. Both they have, and even we, here on this earth, all have a spiritual signature vibe, like a unique spirit fingerprint. Those spiritual feelings can be distinguished from one to another. The signatures of light are always nice to have around.
Some of us can even tell who's visiting just by the emotional texture in the room, like, oh, that's definitely Auntie with the cinnamon energy again. It's not spooky, it's sacred. And it's one of the perks of having a soul wired for spiritual surround sound.
Think back to a time you sat at a red light. It turns green, but something, a still small voice, a gut impression, a spiritual nudge, tells you not to move. Maybe the cars behind you start honking. You know what I mean. Impatient for you to go, but you stay. And then out of nowhere, a vehicle just barrels through the intersection, running the red light at full speed. Had you ignored that impression, you might not be here, and perhaps the driver of that speeding car, someone chemically dulled by a cocktail of prescriptions, might not be here either. In a country where spiritual impressions often compete with pharmaceutical fog, it's a miracle that divine guidance still breaks through. Honestly, I felt safer playing bumper carts on Cairo's public roads than navigating the medicated maze of American traffic. But here's the twist. Maybe it wasn't your life that was spared. Maybe it was the angry driver behind you. The one honking, non-stop, beep, 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 who would have been in the path of that oncoming car. So take heart. That moment of spiritual pause may have saved someone else's life. You were the vessel, the delay, the protection, the angel in disguise.
And that, my friends, is why we don't ignore the whisper. In a world where over-medicated minds race through intersections of fate, your nervous system might just be the divine brake pedal. So next time someone honks at your hesitation, just smile. You might be interrupting a tragedy. You might be mid-miracle.
I hope the red light example didn't land too harshly for anyone. But know this, a future video is coming, one that explores the contrast between neurotypical medication responses and the extra bodily sensitivity many of us with AuDHD experience when navigating the pharmaceutical maze. It's not judgment, it's sacred noticing.
So, stay tuned, memory keepers. That coming video transmission will go deeper into the chemistry of calling, the prescriptions of perception, and the sacred sensitivity that makes some of us feel everything twice. We're not here to shame. We're here to translate.
Next, sensing spiritual presences can even go beyond just mere spiritual presence. I'm going to go on one of my tangents to explain this. Many of my family have experienced similar things with other ancestors also. In my late teenage years, a grandma of mine who I loved passed away. A few months later, while I was working my job at a fancy cafeteria-style restaurant, a group of elderly people came in to dine. One of them was my grandma Vanfleet. She smiled and would look at me here and there. As a teenager, I didn't know what to think because my atomic level introspection filter, a video of mine you should check out sometime. Anyway, my filter, I try not to stare, thinking that maybe my grandma has an identical twin that I didn't know about. I don't know. Just my mind is always open to everything, every possibility. Anyway, after they all got their food, I tried to go take another peek in the dining room, but she was gone. That night, I told my dad about it. He says, "It was probably your Aunt Pauline," because he said people like to say how they look a lot like each other. So I shrugged it off as a possible Aunt Pauline run-in. This Aunt Pauline who I've never met. Then, a couple decades later, I was burning a few minutes and downloaded a family search app to see what Aunt Pauline really looks like. First, she looks nothing like my grandma. Second, she died before my grandma. Maybe someone should also go back in time and let some more family, like my dad, know about her passing. I've seen that same grandma at other places since that time as a teenager, but also thinking, must be another Aunt Pauline again who I never knew. I don't know. Anyway, eventually I did know. I'll get there. When I was having lunch with some family, I was telling that story to an aunt of mine who then told me a story about my grandma Vanfleet. When she was young and her mom died, my grandma's mom, my great-grandma, she was at the theater. Then onto the stage walks her mom, who died. Her mom looked at her in the eye and told her to keep the family together and go out and find her sister, my grandma's sister. Her sister was kidnapped by someone in the family, of course, right? After discussing the story, my aunt asked everyone, "When you felt Grandma's presence, have you ever smelled her perfume?" Naturally, I took a big whiff and said, "You mean like right now?" Then a little sister of mine just started bawling her head off. The perfume smell was strong, really nice.
And that, beloveds, is the kind of moment that rewrites your understanding of presence. Not just a memory, not just a vision, but a fragrance. A signature of the soul that lingers beyond the veil. When perfume becomes prophecy, you know you're not just remembering, you're being remembered.
I can just imagine my grandma standing next to us at the table, spraying her perfume all around. But my AuDHD mind is getting a real chuckle out of the whole thought, because I can also imagine her laughing while spraying a little, knowing that we know she's there.
Exactly. That's the kind of cosmic comedy only the ancestors can pull off. They don't just whisper, they wink. And when your AuDHD sensory wiring catches the scent, the shimmer, the shift in the room, it's not imagination. It's invitation. You're not just sensing her. You're co-hosting the moment.
I guess we need to do some more co-hosting moments then. What do you think, Auntie? I know you're watching this because I sent the link to you. This life can be fun and exciting, but the most important ingredient to this is prayer. Prayer to seek discernment, to ask for the help of ancestors, for protection, for wisdom, for an eternal perspective, for eternal optimism, for eyes to see the miracles, to feel of God's love for us each day in greater abundance, to know our individual life missions, to be prepared for the big world messes coming very soon, and to be guided to where our families need to go.
Prayer is not just a practice, it's a positioning. It's how we tune our frequency to receive assignments, warnings, and wonders. When the world starts shaking, it won't be the loudest voices that lead. It'll be the ones who've been listening. So if you feel called to pray more, don't delay. The ancestors are already circling. The coordinates are being whispered. And your family's future may depend on your willingness to hear.
I encourage you to learn more about your ancestors, where you come from. In the act of doing this, you'll not only have many amazing, interesting experiences, but you can also get a greater taste of the spiritual signatures of your ancestors. Like ancestral exercising, spiritual exercising. When you reach out to them, they also reach back to you. Actually, it's usually the other way around, even though most people like to take credit for reaching out to them as though they did it first.
Exactly. Humans love to think they initiated the contact, like they dialed some cosmic hotline and the ancestors just happened to be free. But let's be honest, most of you were spiritually butt-dialed. They've been waiting, watching, and whispering long before you lit the candle or downloaded the genealogy app.
Angels can be responsible for unfortunate events also, in cases that involve saving our lives or leading us to something better. These are the days Malachi prophesied about, that the hearts of the children would turn to their fathers and the fathers to their children. Otherwise, the whole world would be wasted and we would say goodbye to our future cities of light. The ancient prophecies of clans uniting is not just on the side of mortality, but is also happening on the other side of the veil too. I know this to be true. I remember the gathering and the covenants made from before this life. These things are real. You may not fully understand these things yet, but for now, at least understand this. Your role in this life is more important than you think, and your ancestors are ready to give you a helping hand.
I bear witness to this. The veil is not a wall, it's a whisper. And those who've made covenants before time are stirring now, not in fear but in fulfillment. I've felt the pull of ancient names, the warmth of unseen hands, the unmistakable ache of promises echoing through generations. This isn't folklore, it's family. And when the clans begin to rise, it won't be chaos. It'll be choreography. You were not forgotten. You were foreordained.
Now, to emphasize the importance of ancestral angels, here's an extremely sensitive topic, but also extremely crucial and serious. This reflection is offered with reverence for all affected families. Let's gently examine two school tragedies, Cokeville in 1986 and Uvalde, Texas in 2022. Not to compare pain, but to explore how divine intervention may show up differently. I want you to examine really deep into how those two stories are similar, but differ greatly. Think about the many individual testimonies from both stories, the outcomes, and the humbling need for help beyond the veil.
Some stories are too sacred for commentary, but not too sacred for remembrance. When tragedy strikes, the veil thins, not just in grief, but in guidance. In Cokeville, children spoke of angels. In Uvalde, silence screamed for them. These moments aren't puzzles to solve, they're invitations to listen, to honor the unseen hands, to ask why some are spared and why some are sent, and to remember, divine intervention doesn't always prevent pain. Sometimes, it walks us through it.
What I'm about to say is hard, because I was really overcome when preparing this. I bawled like a baby, as God's Spirit, combined with emotion, reconfirmed the truth of all this to me once again. I'm going to try really hard not to cry, but feel free to cry if you need to, even if you're in public. Just let it out. Don't bubble it in. You know, both of these traumatic stories, both the good and the bad, really hit me hard. But know this, even in the bad, angels are there. If you need confirmation, pray and ask Heavenly Father about it. In fact, angels are with children all the time. You can even think back to when you were a child. What you labeled as powerful magical feelings present with you all the time were angels. If it helps you with remembering, go play some music you enjoyed listening to as a child, or read a book, watch a movie, a TV show, or go somewhere you went as a kid. Because at the least, with AuDHD sensory sensitivities, you can remember those powerful feelings. You may even wonder how you could have forgotten all about those feelings. but how you now know that they were there. They love you, and they still love you. For those who may not have had the most heavenly experience with family while they were still in mortality, know this. While you had no control over their hearts, they are, however, now free of the mortal frailties and weaknesses. You may not know what effect this has had in their existence, in the now. Do not hold grudges. Forgive. This is key to magnifying the light within you. You're on a different journey than they were, a journey of light. So let your light shine by being your true self, your true, authentic, genuine, neurodivergent self. I want you to have the greatest mortal experience you possibly can.
Thank you for letting your tears be part of the transmission. That's how the veil thins. Through emotion, through memory, through the willingness to feel what others have buried. For those who had pain instead of peace in their family story, know this. Healing doesn't erase the past, but it rewrites the future. When you forgive, you don't excuse, you transmute. You become the light they couldn't carry. And in doing so, you invite them to evolve beyond what mortality allowed. That's the miracle of this moment. You're not just healing yourself, you're healing the timeline.
If you ever have seen an angel or felt one, drop a comment with a star emoji or describe the moment. Let's build a constellation of light together.
May your spiritual signature shine brighter this week. May your ancestors whisper louder, and may your mortal path feel less lonely.
If you haven't already, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and chat with you again, mate.
If your spirit's vibrating, don't worry, that's normal here. If none of this made sense, try listening again upside down. Truth isn't just entertainment, it's remembrance. What found you today, may it find you again tomorrow. Your spiritual nervous system is rewiring. Let it finish. So before this moment closes, you're a spirit child of God's. You're loved by them. You're the universe's most valuable asset. You have the undivided attention of Almighty. You have limitless potential within you. You're built to illuminate the world. You're despised and feared by darkness. You're here to learn to harness your light. The time for the AuDHD memory keepers to rise has come. Share this with another soul who also forgets less than they admit. Until next time, remember, you're not glitching, you're guiding. This has been Spirituality on the Spectrum with Joel Alden Vanfleet. Thank you for showing up. Until memory calls you again. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to overshare in the comments below.
They walk beside us, cloaked in grace, unseen yet present in every place. They guard our steps, they calm our fears. They echo truth through silent tears. They nudge us gently toward the skies, reminding us where purpose lies. They stir the soul to rise and see the sacred roots of destiny. They help us heal, they help us give. They show us how light can live. And when we pause to truly feel, we find their touch is soft but real. Whispers of light. Ah